So if future Jordan doesn't already make the thumbnail as it is, yeah, RPG Maker woes, I will probably be talking a bit about that because, again, it's relevant to me as a developer. But for Herald, 7th Curse, and 2 custom mysteries, boy, it could be a lot worse than that. So this is kind of substandard, is that the correct phrase? Oh my goodness, native English speaker, by the way. But as we move on here, so 7th Curse... That's not 7th Curse. Oh my goodness. It was what I had hovered on. Yeah, 7th Curse, Herald. So as we get into, for timestamp's sake, Herald, 7th Curse character, exclusive custom character. Again, if we die before the end of the second mystery, we do another run, usually. But, second encounter, strength, dexterity, light, Takshisan, and maybe a second mystery check. I think we'll be okay with that. Funny enough, I want to actually try forcing strength, so we're going to enable the hardware store. Now here's this is before I get ward, but let's see what actually happens. So we get Shadow Shroud. If we get stone statues on a high or max threat level downtown, sure, but that's not likely to happen. So we do start with the flashlight, so that does complement the incentive to go for the army knife, at least in my opinion. But you can still force whatever you want. For example, a knowledge weapon for the occult shop. And that's pretty much it. If you do dog shop for the steak knife, sure. Steak knife? Anywho. Teacher, coma, sailors, frogs, and taxi. So I put 4 mysteries out of rotation, and they were mainly from the mini Modpack series. If you know, you know. If you don't worry about it. Basically, we still have... If you saw the first 10 to 20 episodes, we still have the same mysteries. Now, I'm deciding whether I want to do coma or teacher first instead. I could do not taxi, frogs beforehand. I just thought frogs was here. Yeah, we'll do frogs first and hope for the best. So, as we move on here, we're still going to prepare to at least prepare these funds. The wooden bat will be good to throw, but we're really looking for something for the hardware store. We can also opt to use the heavy-duty flashlight because of 6 knowledge, but 6 knowledge isn't actually enough for me, so we're still going to use the monkey wrench. But otherwise, if you weren't listening at the very beginning and you skipped ahead to the timestamp for gameplay, yeah, I am having some RPG Maker woes. It's not really the fault of anyone specific. It's actually just my fault because I am trying to wrap my head around the use of certain plugins. If you don't know, 15-second Kramer simple explanation would be that. Plugins are essentially mods you can use on RPG Maker, the program, so that you can do things other than what the base program gives you. For example, say you have like MS Paint, or you have a regular text editor. Maybe you want to add some mod to your text editor. In my case, could be Notepad++, could be Sublime, so on and so forth. Let me actually just check my police station, by the way. I think I'm actually just going to do the village here, because I have a feeling we'll be going there. Maybe, but we'll see. Also, don't I have a really bad... Yeah, we have Mangled Hand. We do not want that on us. So let's get rid of that while grabbing the painkillers. And moving on. But yeah, working with plugins in not World of War, RPG Maker, and I'm trying to wrap my head around some bugs that were appearing. I did get them solved, but boy, if nothing else, the end of what I want to say contains something along the lines of read everything, read all documentation specifically, and I specifically am emphasizing the word documentation, which you can say the same of World of Horror if we're to draw parallels for those who know World of Horror more. And you're watching this video, run, by the way. Yeah, there's documentation on the making of custom content for World of Horror, and basically a dictionary for all curses and items in case you want to do custom content for World of Horror, specifically adding bonuses to a character, using certain item pools for events, learning how mysteries, the flow of mysteries, or maybe examples of mysteries, and so on and so forth, how to create ETO files for all 3 main types of custom content. In my opinion, I think is a very, very helpful thing to have. Also, we haven't leveled up yet, but we're still going to take Teacher first, just so I can gauge what my Doom's going to be at the end of this. And very, very specifically, again, if you don't know, don't worry about it. I'll probably do some simple explanations here and there as I rolled an 11 on strength, was it? But also specifically, I was trying to... for RPG Maker, I was working on the use of TP modes. For those who don't know, really quickly, TP modes are essentially an energy source, just like MP in RPG, just RPGs in general. TP is a resource that can be used for characters in an RPG Maker game, or a game made it with RPG Maker, sorry. And so I was trying to specifically basically work out the kinks in getting characters to proc moves and having enemies proc moves based on their TP, because unless I'm still misunderstanding because I haven't looked under the hood, so to say, or looked at the code specifically, in both plugins and just the RPG Maker itself. You'd think I'd know as much, but there are still some very minute details in how TP is calculated for an enemy, which is a bit harder to look for or a test, in my opinion, than a character's TP value, because when you're playing a character, the player basically, when you're the player, it's easier to understand how TP might be influenced by actions you do, especially when plugins change how you can gain or not or lose TP. But again, that's a very specific problem I am basically running test cases for. Making sure things work the way that are intended, to put it in very simple terms. I'm just going to keep going for the 10% here. Or sorry, the 10 damage here. We're losing Doom, but that's by far the resources I have the most of at the moment. Now, us slowly inching towards this encounter, on the other hand, I'm probably going to end up throwing the wooden bat at the teacher/school. But hey. So yeah. Again, just making sure the very base minimum works, which is why it's taking me so long to go through even just a little bit I'll put out for this game that I'm making. Because again, I want to make sure if the foundations aren't great, I don't feel you'll have a fun time continuing to make a game. As I'm sure developers have experienced. Period. That's the end of the sentence. Let's put the censor up, by the way. And what I mean by that specifically is that if you end up having to, and again, I've seen this myself for developers that end up running into it, but either through devlogs or just, you know, how a game is either remade, or just explicitly the dev says outright, I gotta change everything just somewhere along the lines, then yeah, that's... you want to make sure the foundations of a game are mostly set up. Now, obviously, there might be things you change later on. Oh, I have to throw more than the wooden bat. I'll throw the flashlight. I know we have a light source check in the lighthouse, but this... Did I want to do that, actually? I don't think I actually wanted to do that. Now I just feel sad. Well, I've already committed, so I'm just going to commit to the... I'm just going to commit. We'll level up afterward, unless we somehow get to some weird... My weird collection perk, but... I don't actually remember, even though I've played this character already once. Deduction will still be quite worth it, so we'll take it. But we lose the bath and no dog shop. Not that we had one, but just to say what is happening on screen. Anywho, didn't I have an injury I wanted to get rid of? Maybe broken nose if I wanted to rest. I'm gonna forget about that, by the way. Sailors is gonna be last. Coma, it might be fourth. We'll take Taxi now because of pain that can happen in battles, in encounters. I'm actually going to roll the dice in the history club. We're on our third mystery with 28% Doom. I think that we can afford to kind of use this. Funny enough, I'll take a Thotu Flame. There can be some good things we can get out of that while we forget Midasu Touch. We'll keep Shadow Shroud for the moment. I did grab the handcuffs, right? Did I not? I'm going to go into the police station again. We did not get it. Alright, good to know. I was gonna do something else. Oh, get rid of this broken nose. Nah, we'll see. We'll see. Because I could either take a curse and get rid of broken nose, essentially, or I could... I basically spend 6 Doom getting rid of the broken nose. But if I'm not gonna rest, there's no point doing that. That's my rationale. Now, we do have Fearful, and I did forget my second encounter, but hey... Them's the Jordan break, so we'll take 2 Doom here. That's essentially 2 Doom. Kind of works better out because I'm not losing as much funds, but to be fair, you're not really using funds anyway. And yeah, the only other thing I'll say about game dev stuff is, yeah, there's just going to be 2 characters, really small stuff. There might be a few NPCs here and there, but yeah, just even going through the motions of setting up a credits room so that, you know, credits are important, especially if it's going to be a commercial project. Even if it does turn out to be a completely free game throughout its entire lifespan, and but I get donations, that can be considered. I'm sure that can be considered a commercial project in some jurisdictions, but I'm just going to assume that's the case for me, because I don't want to take any risks. Nice Doom, by the way. We have Doom to spare, so I don't really mind getting slapped by that taxi, or I guess driven around, because that's really where the Doom is coming from, but hey. As for the other games I'm making, those are basically slowed down somewhat, because, yeah, I have a lot on my plate. Although game dev is one of my primary sources of, you know, trying to make a living for myself, so that's that. -2 all for this hot garbage? I don't mean the graphics. The graphics are amazing. It's just taking -2 all in the face is not so amazing. So I could opt to eat it in the face. I could also a Thotu Flame. I think that's probably the better option here. Yeah. Less Doom, and because we have a broken nose, we can't rest comfortably anyway, so I might as well go 2 Flame twice. If we're gonna lose 2 all, yes, we lose 4 Doom on top of it, but we would be losing probably more than that if I were actually going to go through that battle. It wasn't guaranteed. There's a chance we only take -2 all, but trust me, it was not looking good. Now, with that signed contract, I can get more cigarettes. That's my main thought about things. But as we move on here, I think I'll smoke the cigarettes now, considering I'm going to get more, or at least the second pack. But we'll find out. So I'm going to actually fight this, quote unquote fight this, but I don't actually. I'm just gonna pick arbitrary options and see what happens. So let's continue finding out. There are things. There are things under the hood in the Ito file. Nice, by the way. Dislocated shoulder. -3 stamina as well. Oh, that is no fight. But I think we lose everyone else. So yeah. Ending B. So yeah, that's what you get for getting lost and going the wrong way, I guess. Again, I haven't explored Taxi 2. I mean, I probably have, but I don't remember the exact details of every single moment in Taxi. Which again, if you're new to this channel, or this is one of your first videos, you can get these mysteries yourself and try them out. But in my case, I'm just going to keep going on because that's all I can do. With the pain, I have a lot of injuries on my plate, by the way. I wanted to save the cigarettes for more stuff. That was probably not what I want. I really should look into that event. Just like I haven't looked into the book event where you can just pick up manga and take 5 experience. But we'll eat the pizza anyway and get stamina back. Again, keeping in mind we're still under the effect of Fearful, but we have like 51% Doom. So if I do, 1, if I don't get fetid fumes, and 2, I recover from this injury, I would be in a lot better place. Nice 9 charisma roll by the giveaway game. We do have my weird collection, by the way, so that's something to note, but I also want another. So you know what? We're actually going to do a little tradesies here. We get hunger. We don't really care about that, so thankfully, pretty much just 2 funds for free, although it did cost, funds? I'm going crazy. Anywho, let us get a second pack of cigarettes if possible. Never mind, I lied to myself. We can sell something here, right? Probably don't want to sell the painkillers, but I'm going to do it because I'm probably just going to end up resting anyway, which is what I planned to do in the first place. So, oh, that's right, we do. Do we have fetid fumes? We do have fetid fumes, don't we? We did. We got it as one of our very first effects, but when we gotta rest, we gotta rest. Now we don't get the restless bonus for that, but we needed more healing right now anyway. But let's see if I'm right. So, we'll tell the truth and just take our free out. I thought that was actually going to be reason loss. I don't know why. Might be confusing it with another event. 5 dexterity, bleh, and just threat level increase, which I don't mind because we're going to take it in the face here anyway. Takshi-san, I think, is in the center of the lighthouse, so but I'm a bit lazy and I don't want to check, so that's me. We're on our last mystery with 68% doom. We should be able to survive this no matter what. It would be really, really strange if I don't. Actually, it wouldn't be that strange. I've been in far worse situations, but what we can do is toss the energy drink and probably something else. I guess we'll see. We'll see if we get another item. Otherwise, we will toss either the map. Well, probably the map. Yeah, probably the map, actually. We do have Seaside max threat level, so let's actually do a switch here. We probably say, I think we save 1 doom overall, at least. But we'll see. I mean, I did flip-flop a bunch of times, but that's not really my fault. It is my fault. Do we just want to go for the big... we can't even do that. No. We'd have to brace once, which I don't really want to do. But this is an Eldritch enemy, despite that it looks like a human, so we can't use the handcuffs anyway. So yeah, we do this. I think we get this guaranteed. Yeah, so boost attack, boost strong. And out we go. We'll take our 11 experience, but boy, we're in pain. Especially considering we don't have any of our stats at 8. So we get hallucinations. Good thing we weren't using an army knife, but we would probably still be okay regardless. Now, the fact that our doom is... what I should have probably done if I was confident in my stamina and reason was save the doom and not rest in the 4th mystery in Taxi. Not Taxi. Coma, and instead rest at the lighthouse, but it's too late now. I think we're just gonna roll on this 90%, that way we can get 20% next turn with boost attack guaranteed. Yeah. I really don't remember my second encounter, so we're gonna be in a lot of pain, but I'm gonna hold this level up, at least for now, as we lose 2 reason. And yeah, let's toss the map. We are on timeline B. Probably don't want to equip the torch though, so we'll keep it off. But we do have another light source. That was something to consider earlier. We got time skip, by the way. This could be bad. Well, if we get quick thinking, we could do a thing. I don't know if we have a dexterity check though, so this might be a waste. Let's find out. But yeah, I should have actually just looked at the lighthouse. I was just being a little lazy there, but hey. So now we have 8 dexterity. We did have a dexterity check. Was that worth it, actually? I feel like that wasn't worth it for some reason. Anywho, we lose 3 stamina. We have a light source, and do we have the 6th floor even? No. Thankfully, even though we were on Herald. So I think as long as we slap Takshi-san here really good, we should be okay. I was going to say relatively okay, but we should be okay. I guess we'll find out. So, I don't remember. I don't think we did... yeah, it can't have been the school. So, basically, anything that happened afterward can't have been... I'm just going to guess it's either the salesman or the student. I'm going to say it's the salesman. Never mind. I lost. I mean, I guessed wrong. Well, I did lose that trial, but hey. The good news is we can immediately we can probably one-shot handcuff Takshi-san. Especially with the power of the cigarettes. But my worry, I think we level up here. Never mind, because it happens immediately. So, I think we still survive, though. No matter what happens. In fact, I think we just one-shot him without the handcuffs. Yeah, I'll handcuff Takshi-san on the ground just to do so. But, yeah, that was the last one anyway. Wow, by the skin of our teeth. Not the bare skin of our teeth, because then we'd have to be at 99%. But I think I've been giving this character a good run, so if you've seen the other character icons on the character select screen, you'll know who's coming next. Otherwise, I'd like to thank you for watching. As always, if you want to support me or not, that's cool, whatever you decide to do. I just won't take up more of your time now, so I'll thank you for watching. Bye!